evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gaming Saloon for October 18th, 2013, with your host, Peacemaker2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
And someone had so many problems that one.
I've had a rough goddamn week. It's been a busy week for me, so I'm fried, man.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Plus, I'm still trying to get used to my new intro that I fucking wrote, so...
Yeah, that's bad when you write the intro and you still screw it up.
Yes, because I go back on habit.
Well, it's kind of a case of with me in the outro. I completely bumfuck it some weeks, and it's like, how do you do that? But, yep, a lot of articles this week.
Yeah.
Compared to what last week was, anyhow.
Out of curiosity, can you get the first one open?
Yeah. Although I've kind of had it open for like the past 30 minutes since I've been fighting with XSplit because it doesn't want to work.
Alright, apparently I just couldn't get me clicking the link didn't want it to work.
Click it again. Or smack it with a hammer. One of the two.
I had to go into edit and open link and do tab from there.
Odd.
I know. Anyway, folks, like I said, we got a bunch of articles to talk about this week.
And apparently a mouse that doesn't want to cooperate, but yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of them nights.
Yep. Don't be surprised. Well, I ain't even got the technical difficulty image up, I bet.
No, you have the Gaming Saloon image up.
No, I mean, if it does happen. I kind of had to redo the XSplit thing again.
By the way, Tommy, the Gaming Saloon's over the article.
I know, it's on purpose. We're not in the article yet.
So let's get rolling on our articles. First up, from the folks at Gaming Politics, a study apparently says digital piracy harms exaggerated by entertainment industries. This should be interesting. Let's see, a new study by the London School of Economics suggests that the movie, music, and video games industry have been exaggerating the impact that file sharing has had on their bottom line and found that for some creative industries, copyright infringement may actually be helping to boost revenues. Researchers found that internet-based revenues have been a large part of the music industry's growth since 2004 because the industry has adopted methods of distributing and consuming content modeled after file sharing services such as BitTorrent, Pirate Bay, and Napster. Well, what do you know? You can't beat them, so join them.
Yep.
Let's see. Researchers found a similar pattern with the movie industry. While sales and rentals of DVDs have declined by about 10% between 2001 and 2010, global revenues have increased by 5% in that same time period. The U.S. film industry was worth $93.7 billion in 2012, researchers said. Let's see. Despite the Motion Picture Association of America's claim that online piracy is devastating the movie industry, Hollywood achieved record-breaking global box office revenues of $35 billion US in 2012, a 6% increase over 2011. The video games and book publishing have also been successful at finding new revenue streams within the digital space and are making very healthy profits, report notes. In 2013, the global book publishing industry was worth $102 billion, more than any of the other entertainment industries. Researchers argue that the online culture of sharing music, video games, movies, and other content have spewed new models of producing and distributing creative content that don't necessarily rely on exclusive ownership of that content. They're talking about Gangnam Style. Research says that file sharing, both legal and illegal, can boost awareness of product and boost sales that can often offset the loss in revenue from illegal sharing of content. Researchers close by saying that countries like the UK and the US need to reform their copyright enforcement regimes, which are out of step with reality. So, That's a little interesting take. And you can
But
proceed to read the whole freaking PDF, which is about, oh, 18 pages.
okay, to this I also say, of course it's exaggerated. You've got, and really this is where the demos have kind of built up even more. You've
Yeah.
got people, case in point with me with Minecraft at the beginning. I'll admit, for a little bit there, I didn't have Minecraft legit. Mainly because I was not entirely sure if I wanted to sink the $26 into it or not. After I played it for a little bit, I got to where I liked it and I bought it. I don't see where if you're planning on doing that, that's a problem. That's just me. And I'd venture to say I'm not the only one out there that's doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to sit back and think, yeah, $26 for a game, that's not that bad. But if you don't even know if you're going to be willing to pick the game up later down the line, or if it's just going to be one of those one-time hits, then that's kind of a little hard to even spend that much money. And honestly, it was saying about adopted methods from BitTorrent, Pirate Bay, and Napster as far as file sharing.
Yeah.
What's a digital download? It's essentially that.
Yeah. That's what the entire digital marketplace is. It's legal. That's the only difference between BitTorrent and iTunes. One is legal, one is not. They're both
Exactly.
digital downloads.
Exactly. I mean, that goes to show that something that was illegal actually helped everyone realize, hey, that's a good idea. We can make money off of that.
Yeah. Of course, also, one you have to pay for something, one you don't, but, well, if you're doing something illegal, you're not paying for it to begin with.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you are, then why?
I just find this interesting because I'm like, well, it probably is a bit over-exaggerated. Maybe not to, like, sky-high proportions, but it probably is a bit over-exaggerated. And I saw, down in their comments, they brought up a couple good points. One, you know, this legal marketplace is a double-edged sword. You have that, it was like, okay, people will buy games off getting it illegally first, but some won't.
Right.
And secondly, it seemed like they were probably talking about the major companies more so than the independents. And piracy probably hurts the independent guys more than the major guys.
Right. That's something too that gets over exaggerated. You get these big people like EA and Activision and all them, and then they're out there saying about piracy hurting them. Well, really, it's not. It's not
They
really
can weather.
brushing them. They can survive off of those couple hundred that are doing that,
Yeah.
as opposed to an independent person that might only be reaching out to a couple hundred people.
Yeah. I mean, EA is probably not worried too much about piracy. An independent company, on the other hand, like,
Well,
I'm trying to think
Mojang,
of,
when they first started, for example.
yeah, they were probably far more concerned with piracy than EA was, because they're probably not making that much on the money to begin with. So
Which, I mean, by now I'm sure they are, but
yeah, Mojang has blown up to huge proportions by now, so they're not too worried about piracy, I would say.
Mojang literally is the biggest indie developer out there right now, so
Yeah.
And what's funny is they've really only had one game that's stuck around.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how in the world that happened, but you gotta give them
People
credit
latch
there.
on something and they just go with it.
I
Doesn't
think it
matter
has
how.
to do with look at how much creativity you can do with it.
Hmm.
You can keep it vanilla, or you can embrace Bucket and oh
Pixelmon and half a dozen other
uh
mods.
I can't think of what
Tech
one
it.
it's called. No, it's not Tacket for Pixelmon actually.
Oh.
It's Spout.
Oh.
Because I've looked into that before and I was like, eh. But you can embrace Bucket, you can embrace Spout, Tacket. I mean, Minecraft is no longer just you place block here and do this.
Yeah.
They have, wow. And that's why it don't hurt them anymore.
Hmm. I mean, I'm just gonna say this. Just imagine how much money Minecraft would be making if everyone, if you had to pay a fee for every single add-on that's existed for Minecraft, texture packs, full-on game types, etc., etc., etc.
And if they went a step further and no one but Mojang could develop this stuff.
That would probably cut it in half because they didn't have to worry about lawsuits. But yeah.
Because you look, Bucket is community made, Tacket's community made, Spout's community made. All the texture packs. Um, there's a lot that it's community based. So you think if Mojang was trying to make money off of all that, that would lock that down too. Because people couldn't mod it. And, whoa.
Yeah. Now, see if the results of this poll on the side for about the toy-based video games, and no results. So darn. But it is interesting to think about that, because I do think it's probably a little bit out of proportion on everyone's side. Hell, I think I've saw an infograph from about 2 years ago about how the movie industry, complains and complains and complains about piracy, but according to their statistics, the movie industry just keeps growing. They're still making profit. They're still making money. Good money. And I'd say I think no matter what, um, that that third line from the bottom right there, that really needs to happen.
Yeah.
No matter what, in terms of piracy, that we need reform on copyright infringement regimes and copyright in general.
Yeah, because there is so. Anymore, copyright is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's nothing. Like right now, technically speaking, TGS and TGSR are both copyrighted because that is stuff we've developed on our own.
Yeah.
But because there's so lax on laws on that, we really cannot hold true ownership to it until we go a step further and actually register it.
Yeah, register it as what, an LLC or something along those lines.
Or anything, really.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is LLC off the top of my head.
So, I mean, a copyright anymore is nothing. And
Yeah,
that's
especially.
that's the problem right there.
Yeah, and with infringement as high as it can be, depending on what people can do with your content, does it really matter you own that copyright anymore?
Well, from what I understand, you only have to change like a certain percentage of it to actually be able to consider it your own. and it's not that much.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people get away with that stuff on YouTube, is they have to just change it just enough, and all of a sudden it doesn't matter. Like, they can't take you down for that. That's where we get way back to, like, what, 2 months ago, when we were talking about Nintendo's taking down, or not taking down, monetization of Nintendo Let's Plays.
Yeah.
You get into that gray area of, like, well, do the Let's Players own this content, or does Nintendo own this content, or do they jointly own the content? What's going on? It's like, how do you call that? Well, law doesn't say anything because the law ain't updated to internet, to be internet proof.
Yeah, because technically, as it's standing, simply having voice over it. Case in point, this article right here. Yes, it's on Game Politics. But because we're covering it, and we're not sitting here reading it word for word, we're paraphrasing and giving our thoughts on it,
Yeah.
we could technically write this article over again and throw it up on our site.
Yeah. Which is what I see happen a lot in terms of the token community, because Ranger Crew and I think several other blogs will will do up articles, and then other websites will just take that article, rephrase it, paraphrase it, post it up, and just throw the credit back to them.
And that's legit.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got so loose right there, because especially if you sit back and take that a step further.
Yeah.
Okay, you said you got one person basically paraphrasing someone else.
Yep.
What happens when someone else comes in and paraphrases what's already been paraphrased? You're going to keep deleting that content.
Yep. And that's where you get misinformation sometimes. Because you can trace an article through credits. Because most big websites will credit their article, where they got their information from. And you can lead that back to the original source eventually. And you may have to go through 4 or 5 websites to get there. Because one website will credit this person, that website will credit the previous person, that website will credit the previous person, and so on and so forth.
And it'll just keep going.
Yeah, until you find out who originally broke the news to begin with. No, the article we're looking at, that's not originally Game Politics. If you scroll on down, they have a source listed.
Yeah. So, that means that they're even going in and probably paraphrasing and giving more thought on the original article.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the big problem there.
Yeah.
No one truly anymore holds a copyright on anything they do.
Right.
Because
it's more...
if it's altered just minor, it's enough to be considered someone else's.
Yeah. It's more of crediting where you got your information from, and then kind of going from there with your stuff. Which I believe is the basis of every single essay I've ever done. Because isn't that the point of you doing an academic essay, is you put in your own content, but you just paraphrase and quote other people?
Yeah.
And you just throw the credit to them, and that's it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if we've ever sit down and actually talked about the whole privacy issue as a big topic.
I don't think we have, actually.
That might be something for next time, if nothing comes up between now and then.
Yeah.
But
maybe we'd have someone else to help talk about that with.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we've kind of been beat it in the head.
Yeah, we've already covered it. Anything else to say before we move on? Alrighty then, moving forward, we have the prototype specs for the Steam machines.
And when I looked over this yesterday, after hearing about your laptop a little more, because I thought you had the other one apparently,
Yeah.
this really looks better on paper than it sounds.
Yeah. Let's see. Just to cover the specs itself, because I don't think there's anything in the article proper we needed to talk about. Actually, no, to last couple paragraphs probably. But GPU, some units will have NVIDIA Titan, some GTX 780, that's still in NVIDIA, GTX 760, and some GTX 660. Those are all NVIDIA GPUs. And they're GeForce series, I believe. Because
Yeah.
mine is the GTX 670. Let's see, CPU wise, some box will have the Intel i7 4770, some the i5, and some the i3. Mine's got the i7 for reference. RAM wise, 16 gigs, DDR3 1600 CPU, and 3 gigs DDR5 for the GPU. Storage will have about 1 terabyte by 8 gigabyte hard drive SSHD. It's an odd listing for a hard drive.
Yeah.
Power side would be internal 450 watt, 80 plus gold, and the dimensions will be approximately 12 by 12.4 by 2.9 in height. So just about a box. That'll be
About a
about 3 inches
satellite
high.
box kind of deal.
Yeah. It'll be a 12 by 12 box. That'll be about 3 inches high.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, that's apparently just one of the prototypes, because if we reference back to last episode, they were saying there was going to be dozens of different styles.
Yeah, which is why even in the specs we got, we have the some of this, some of that, some of this, some of that. There is variation there. I think the only hard stuff would probably be the storage, power supply, and maybe the dimensions, depending on what designs they go for.
Really not, though. Because you look, the RAM, the storage, they might could make a standard for the power supply.
Yeah.
But the power supply and maybe the dimensions would be the only two that would have to be definite.
Yeah.
Because it's already been said that they're running Linux on this, so really Linux can run on weak CPUs and hardly any RAM. So that's going to kind of tell you right there that they could even go higher or lower and it'd still be just as good.
Yep. Just to quote a few things from the last 2 paragraphs. Design is not meant to serve the needs of all of the tens of millions of Steam users. However, it will be the kind of machine that a significant percentage of Steam users would actually want to purchase. Valve promises, based on our estimates, Valve's prototype will cost about $1,300 to build using parts purchased off Newegg. Your mileage will vary, of course. So, yeah. $1,300 to build.
Although with this, I still am kind of hoping I can get into the beta.
Yeah.
I would like to test something like this. That would just be awesome.
Yeah. I'll be honest, when I look at the specs, I go, well, my laptop's about that good, so what am I getting this console for? Because I have Steam already.
It'd be one of those with me. I'm already planning on upgrading my laptop. I mean, that's pretty much going to be set.
Yeah.
So, with me, this would be more if I get into the beta, then yeah, I'm going to hang on to it. But if not, I'm probably not going to buy it. And it ain't nothing against Steam or Valve. It's just going to be I'm going to have a better laptop, so I'm not really going to need it.
Yeah.
Give me a, I'll look into it. But
You get out for me right there, so I only caught part of what you said.
I was just saying, yeah, because I mean, yeah, if these stats aren't going to be super like the Xbox One and the PS4s are, then yeah, that why bother having something just to run Steam?
Yeah, when essentially I have the Steam machine already.
Yeah,
And it's portable, too.
that is one of those. It's like,
Yeah. That might be the one problem the Steam machine's gonna have in the future. If someone's got that good laptop that can run Steam and run the games they want, they're gonna look at this and go, "Why do I need this? I have this."
mm-hmm. And you know, it says 1,300 to build it using parts off a Newegg.
You can probably get it pre-built for cheaper.
Yeah. I
Actually, I can get.
mean, the graphics processor might not be exactly to that point unless you're gonna spend well over 1,000 on a pre-built one.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact a $500 or $600 laptop you'll get an i7.
Yeah.
You can upgrade the RAM pretty cheap. It's probably gonna have close to a terabyte, if not more, storage. So I still don't really see the point.
Yeah. I mean, hell, my laptop was cost cheaper than 1,300, and it's got almost the same specs. It doesn't have the same amount of RAM and storage, but it's got close to storage and only about half the RAM. But that can still, I can run Battlefield 4. I ran the Battlefield 4 beta no problem.
But
Eventually.
see, that's what I was saying though. The RAM, you could upgrade it. You could probably get it to that 16. You probably could get it more than that, but you could at least get it to that 16. The graphics processor would probably be the only thing that some of them might outdo you.
Yeah.
Because you've got an external hard drive too, do you not?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got over a terabyte of storage space.
Actually, about 2.72 terabytes. Plus my laptop's hard drive space, so.
Well then.
I got all the hard drive space I could ever want.
Damn.
I got 3 full Rider shows, plus a full Sentai show on my hard drive, and it's barely taking up any space.
Damn.
I have so much crap on my hard drive, and it's barely taken up, let's see... Let's see, 2.26 free out of 2.72. So I've not even gotten the full terabyte. So.
Enough storage space on that thing?
Yeah. And if you just look at the amount of crap on this hard drive, I've got games installed on this thing. I think I have a complete backup of my old laptop on it. Yes, I have a complete backup of my old laptop on it. And that hard drive was nearly full of that one, so. Yeah. You get a terabyte, you're gonna have a tough time filling that one up, unless you get into video editing. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Steam Machine. Anything else to say?
Nah,
I'll take the gargled no as a no.
really, it did it again. I hate
Yes.
this mic.
I heard no, then
It was a no.
Alright, moving forward. Time for another dumb idea from the Xbox One.
Yes, because of course capturing all achievements is so noteworthy.
Yep. Xbox One game DVR captures all achievements.
Automatically, might you add.
Let's see. Following the publication of the story, Microsoft representative provided a statement to clarifying the ways in which the content is captured. Keeps a rolling record of your most recent gameplay, and there are two main ways for this video to be captured by the game's DVR versions. First, game developers mark greatest clips that happen within the game that represent fun and interesting moments within gameplay, such as when you unlock certain achievements. This way, you can also issue commands with either your voice or the controller to capture interesting moments you would like to record or that just happened. Going off the original story, I record the moment a player unlocks in-game achievements. Features continually records around. See, the game DVR feature continually records around 5 minutes of footage in the background, which players can then process through Microsoft's Upload Studio and share with friends. Captured content can be shared only through Xbox Live at launch. Such before will record the last 15 minutes of gameplay, which players can then edit and share with their friends.
What the heck?
So comparison between the two. No, already the Sony's are like, oh, you do the last 5 minutes, we do 15, and we have a button for this shit. I'm not gonna lie, this just sounds dumb.
Well, then it probably didn't take it.
I don't see the point of recording when you get all your achievements. Also, that's going to take up a lot of hard drive space, just saying.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think some of the best things that are going to happen to you that you want to record are not going to be achievements.
Probably not.
It's going to be the other shit that happens. You know, the one time in Grand Theft Auto 5 where you just go on a killing spree and just cause chaos across San Andreas. Or when you and your friends play the crew and you complete a job nearly flawlessly and have crazy stuff happen. You know, it's that kind of stuff that people would actually want to make clips of. Not the fact that, hey, I got an achievement for beating this level. Woo!
Or I get an achievement for slapping someone in the face.
No, the only people who want that are the people who make the walkthroughs for achievements in the game. And since you can't share them except through Xbox Live, it's pointless!
Yeah. I did kind of find that a little backwards there. We're going to give you a DVR, but you can only share it with people on Xbox Live. So if you still want to put it on YouTube for the time being, you still have to have a capture device. Asses.
The point of having a DVR is so you can record shit.
If I wanted to share it with people over Xbox Live, I would put it on YouTube and tell them to find it in the YouTube app.
Exactly!
God! Oh. This is a case of Microsoft thought, we ought to put a DVR in it. We have no idea how to work this thing.
Also, the DVR you can only access if you have Xbox Live Gold, so you're paying for a yearly subscription to have a DVR. Have fun.
Yep, Sony won't do that.
Oh wait, they do, but they give you games for free, so it's okay.
Hey, Microsoft decided they were going to start doing that.
Yes, because nobody owns Halo 3 right now.
Yeah, seriously. Or
Oh.
Fable 3. Or there was another one that I was thinking of that I know. Wasn't one of the Assassin's Creed games on there?
I believe it was 2. Yeah, it was 2.
So I mean, no one owns any of those 3 games that are actually going to play it.
Yeah. This just sounds like, wait, why? I mean, it's cool that you have a voice command that you can be like, connect, record this shit. I would just say weird crap to my if I had a Connect, I just spout random commands to it and hope it does what I want. That, or I would say the command and just add something else to it. Because fuck it, why not?
I could see that. Like like if one of the commands was Xbox on or something like that, be Xbox turn on. God damn it. uh,
Or let there be Xbox on. That is a terrible one, by the way. Oh, that was terrible.
I don't care. It was still funny.
I would try to have fun with it because just being like, Xbox on. Come on! You have a thing that does things to your voice.
I
I have
so
to have
can
fun.
see there being a YouTube video somewhere, not long after the Xbox One is released, where you have someone singing every bit of the commands to see if they can screw with it.
Oh, trust me, people do that in GTA 5 right now, because here's the thing about GTA Online. You can rob convenience stores. Like, you can hold up convenience stores. And you can actually speak into your mic and make the cashier empty out the register faster. Apparently, people have sung songs to the cashier to get him to go faster. Because all it does is registering sound. It's not registering anything else but sound. So people have sang songs, they have told jokes, they have popped off one-liners from their favorite movies, at least according to Elder Geek's review, and they've also done the worst of things and gotten really racial and whatnot, but at least people are having fun with it, outside the racial stuff, but...
Yeah.
I mean, come on, singing a random song to a cashier to tell him in order to get him to hurry up. Or just saying random stuff to him. Or like telling him to not empty the register while he's emptying the register to make him go faster. It's this kind of stuff that you have fun with things like this. But anything else to say on the Xbox One being dumb some more?
No. Besides, buy Sony.
Yeah. Well, we're back to game politics for... I don't even.
Yeah. I don't even either.
Simply put, headline: Russian government to develop patriotic games. May ban games that put Russian military in a bad light.
I swear you did the whole, like, 1920 newspaper article kind of read off right there.
Let's see. The Russian government wants games that highlight the patriotism of its country, and it wants to ban those games that cast the country's military force in a bad light, according to the Hollywood Reporter, if you want something done right. So every single Call of Duty game is going to be banned in Russia now. Or at least all the modern ones.
Pretty much any kind of realistic shooter out there. is going to be banned.
Because I swear, aren't most realistic shooters have Russians as the
Yep.
villains? What is it with the Russians? I mean, we're worried about the North Koreans? Because aren't they a little bit crazy?
Well,
I
I
thought
don't
the
know.
Russians just...
I don't know if you take the Vegas series, then we could be more worried about the Mexicans.
So it's either the Russians, the Mexicans, or the North Koreans. That's our three main enemies, no matter what in a military shooter. You just spin the wheel and you go with whatever you land on.
American shooters are not racist. We just hate them three more than everyone else.
Apparently. I'm like, even InWar does that because you have a Russian faction in there. You have the US faction, the Europe faction, and the Russian faction.
Well, most of them will. If I'm not mistaken, even World of Tanks, there's a Russian group too.
Well,
I
that's
think,
historical, so that doesn't count.
but still,
Yeah.
if you want to get technical, then isn't some of the Call of Duties also?
Yeah.
I mean, loose, but
But I would say, in terms of painting the Russian military in a bad light, I think the other Call of Duties would be fine because you are playing on the Russian side during World War II. Because we were buddy-buddy with them.
True.
And for World of Tanks, we're just showing off the historical Russian tanks that hopefully won't get blown up. Let's see, the Russian Military the Russian Military History Society, which will be administered by Arseny Mironov, an aide to Russia's Culture Minister Vladimir Medinsky, I believe. The first game will be about Russian military aviation during the World War I, and will be completed sometime in 2014. The government is still negotiating with local developers on which studio will make the game. Main thing we expect from the producers of video games is the realistic and historical, truthful representation of events. Said Mironov told Russian Daily. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that name. I'm just gonna stop there before I horribly mispronounce something. He added that the creation of a negative image of the Russian warrior is inadmissible. The video game has to have not only an entertainment value, but it also has to teach and be conducive to patriotic education. Okay.
Since when?
Then shut up, you. At a date to be determined, the Russian government will provide grants for the development of these kinds of games. Let's see. Games which discredit the Russian soldier and discredit historical facts could be banned from being important. Do nothing else. Citing of Company of Heroes being an example of a game that is not favorable to the Russian government. And that's pretty much it. Well, at least Russia doesn't have, or at least Russia isn't doing what Australia does and just bans just about half a dozen violent video games because they don't meet the ratings properly.
Well, because they're too lazy and or don't understand how to rate anything is more like it, but
So, honestly, I'm just kind of curious to see what they will ban more than anything, and what patriotic games we're going to get out of this. Because honestly, if we get some good games out of this, sure. Sure, why not? We'll get some good games out of this. But the whole banning thing, I'm like, what will they ban? Because I'm so curious if something Call of Duty is going to get banned.
Now what?
Anything else to say?
Well, I don't know what to do then.
Yes, no, maybe?
I'm kind of in the middle of something, and you keep barging in here.
All I hear is silence.
Nah, I ain't got nothing else.
Alright, moving on. Back over the Shack news. We're going to be bouncing back and forth between GameStop, Shack News, and Game Politics all night until the last one.
Yeah.
Alright. So, for you folks who haven't had a reason to go back to the Old Republic, I've been busy, so yeah. Time to go back to Old Republic because guess what they're introducing? One of the coolest things that Galaxy had. PvP space combat. Yes, folks. PvP space combat's coming to the Old Republic.
12v12.
Yep. The Star Wars: The Old Republic expansion, Galactic Starfighter, is set to release on February 4th. The expansion will introduce 12v12 EVP space battles at no extra charge. You hear that, folks? You don't have to pay for this one. That makes it better. Players will get a wide array of customization options to design their fighter however they please. They can also upgrade their ship's weapons and abilities as they play. The expansion will also feature a number of PvE game modes, which have not yet been specified. And this goes on to talk about the early access for this, which they don't have linked. So give me a second, I'll pull it up on their website. It breaks it down a little better. All the specifics for it. Alrighty then. If you're looking to get some early access for this, if you are subscribed to the Old Republic, you get early access beginning December 3rd. And you get early access rewards for subscribers from December 3rd to January 13th. This will entail early access starting December 3rd, exclusive gunship daring paint job with early gunship role unlocked. Only available to subscribers who are also subscribed on November 1st, 2013. Strike Fighter variant paint job, Scout variant paint job, Imperial Battle Ace and Republic Squadron Commander pilot suits, so you can walk around and show off that you are a ace pilot, son. In-game titles of First Galactic Starfighter and Test Pilot, maximum leveling and progression. And I'll throw this over to you so you'll have the images of all the stuff I'm talking about.
Okay.
Maybe if TeamSpeak doesn't correct Republic right now. You get access beginning January 14th, 2014. You get the Imperial Battle Ace Pilot Suit, the Republic Squadron Commander Pilot Suit, the in-game title Test Pilot, and again, this is also available to subscribers during this period. And your preferred status early access rewards are from the January 14th next year to February 3rd. And finally, free-to-play access begins, well, the day this actually comes out, February 4th, 2014, and ongoing. And you just get the pilot suits. So, just looking at the ships, I'm so glad I'm Republic, because I kind of like the Republic ships better than the Imperial ships. I mean, the middle one for the Imperial I like, but the other two I'm like, eh. All the Republic ones, I'm kind of digging all of them, especially that middle one. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That middle one looks so good. I don't believe the ships will be locked to class because, well, there's 3 ships and there's 4 classes per side. So I'm guessing you kind of get to pick your ship. I'm assuming, I don't know. They haven't given out that much information. They only came out with a developer diary today that said jack all, besides the beginnings of this idea. So, not really that
Wow.
helpful in terms of information going forward. It's kind of told where this idea came from. So yeah, with that said, shall we look at the trailer?
Let me get it queued up, then yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
Looking at the Galactic Starfighter trailer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Crap.
Pause.
Let's try that again.
Alright. Trying again in 3, 2, 1, go. Jesus, I have to turn this thing down so much because it's loud.
Yeah, I know.
Not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna get back into the Old Republic now. I recently updated mine. Oh, I'm like, can this be out already? Because I seriously want some space combat action. I mean, what they got in there is alright, but this, I want.
Yeah. I like that.
So thinking about getting Old Republic now.
Maybe.
Well,
But maybe. Just for that.
any other thoughts?
Nah.
Alrighty then. Moving on as long as the articles are up.
They're up for me. I don't know about you, but
Okay. I was just making sure. Alright, next up. Bit of an interesting thing to talk about. A quote from David Cage. No one should be allowed to define what a game is. Quantum Dream Boss says a game can be so many different things today. Wants to convince hardcore gamers and newcomers to try Beyond Two Souls. I think people have, and I don't think people are happy. I'm just gonna look at GameStop's review real quick, see what they scored it. Or, I guess, have it loaded up in the background as we read through this article because it's not going. Alright, let's see here. No one should be allowed to... According to Quantum Dream Studio head David Cage, speaking with GameStop about Beyond Two Souls, Cage said he would like to see games break from tradition and tell new stories with new modes of play. Some people can be very conservative about this medium, and this is sometimes frustrating, Cage said. Some people wish that games would always stay what they were in the past 30 years, just with more polygons. No one should be allowed to define what a video game is or should be. No one has this power. Okay. Video game can mean so many different things. Angry Bird is a game. Call of Duty is a game. World of Warcraft is a game. Gone Home is a game. Who can decide you are a video game? You are not a video game. You are not a part of this family. Hang on, why'd you throw in that family comment there, Cage?
Yeah.
No, let's open the media to whoever has different kinds of different ideas. It's great to see people trying to do games where shooting is not the main thing. There's games that don't shoot. Just look at Mario and Sonic and Pac-Man.
In Pokemon.
Yes. Then again, there's different types of shooting in those things, but I don't think that's what he's talking about.
What about all the racing games?
Yeah. And the sports titles.
Yeah.
Okay, so this discussion is very interesting in the context of coming weeks and months when so many top franchises, including shooters like Call of Duty, Ghost, and Battlefield 4 will be released. Cage described these franchises as great, but said Beyond Two Souls was something altogether different, and apparently not good.
Well,
I'm gonna keep harping on that one.
well, you know, it is something altogether different.
Yeah. Beyond is different as a game creator. This is what I believe in, and I would like you to try it, and hopefully you'll like it. It is a different route, and it is definitely the route that I chose in my career.
So he chose to make not so good games.
Yeah, programmers who think the game should only be about shooting and about action and killing and beating adrenaline. Hey! There's no need to stereotype hardcore gamers like that. I am not all about the shooting and the action and the killing and the competition and the adrenaline. Although competing every once in a while is nice. And we need to convince these people to give Beyond a try and say, okay, this is going to be different. Yeah, it's about a young woman. No, she doesn't have a gun. And maybe you will enjoy the experience because it's different, because it's something you haven't played before. On the other spectrum, you have people who do not play games at all and may not have a full understanding of what a game is. That the people try Beyond Two Souls, they may learn games can be something more than they thought they could be. They think video games are just about violence, and that is the one thing. Doesn't your game have violence? I swear it does. Just saying. Your game has violence. So it does. I'm just gonna skip over. I'm just gonna stop there.
Yeah.
He really wants people to try Beyond Two Souls. Actually, I'm not surprised. Alright. It is of a point that, well, games can be different things. I kind of don't agree with him with the whole idea of, well, no one should be allowed to define what a game is because, well, then how the hell do we define a video game then?
Exactly.
We have to know what the hell a video game is so we know what we're making is a video game and not something else entirely.
Yeah, because for all we know, it could be a movie that you're just making different parts of.
Yeah. I mean, there needs to be a definition of what a game is. It doesn't have to be specific, like there needs to be action and shooting and whatnot, but there needs to be a defining qualities. Like for a movie, there needs to be defining qualities of what a movie is. Generally, like very broad generally, of what a movie is, what music is, what TV is. Therefore, when we are experiencing it, we know it's a game. And we also have I'm trying to think of the word. Shit. I can't think of the word. A basis in order to judge the game upon in order to figure out whether it's good or bad. And also help us to understand if we like it or not. Because if we don't know what the hell it is, how the hell are you going to know if you like it or not?
Well, and you know something that I noticed he was kind of hung up on?
He really wanted people to buy Beyond Two Souls?
It wasn't that as much as what did he keep shooting down? No pun intended.
All the shooters?
Exactly.
Even though he called those franchises great?
Okay. Shooters, a lot of people fail to realize this, but really were nothing on the console side until you had Halo and Call of Duty start making their appearance.
Yeah, and all the World War II shooters from back in the day. Because that was the thing back in the day, was World War II first-person shooters.
Yeah, but if you
But
think about it, most of the decent ones were only on PC.
yeah,
You very rarely would have a decent shooter on a console. So, by saying everyone's tied up in shooters, well, yeah, that would be true. But to treat the whole gaming industry as if it's just wrapped around shooters, no.
no. Hell, Nintendo makes a living off no first-person shooters. Or not no first-person shooters. Barely any first-person shooters, because the Metroid Prime series is a first-person shooter to some extent.
And it is dead too because of the Wii.
Yeah, because the company the guys that did the Metroid Prime series did the Donkey Kong Country Returns series, so yeah. We're not getting a Metroid Prime game for a while, folks.
But you look though, you made a point right there. Probably a good 90% of Nintendo's games are not shooters.
There are a variety of genres.
He, from what I grabbed out of that one, was he was way too focused on trying to shoot down the shooter genre altogether.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine if he don't like shooters. But to pretty much say that all gamers out there are only looking for a shooter, then that's wrong.
Yeah. But
otherwise, tell me why League of Legends is as big as it is.
the competition part?
Okay, do you play it competitively?
Nope. I play that thing so casual, it's ridiculous.
Even when I am playing on a ladder on FN, I'm not playing competitively. I'm not in it to win it. I'm just playing to actually play.
Then again, he's talking about a spectrum, but that's a very, very, very specific part of a spectrum that's not one end of it. That's like somewhere in the middle of that hardcore gamer spectrum. That's not that end of it. He's got half of that spectrum correct. There are people who don't play games and know nothing about games. That is the other end of the spectrum that's correct. I think he's not calling the other end correctly.
Yeah, because he's classifying what would be deemed as a hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
They're in there to win. They want as much blood, as much gore, as much killing as possible. That's what makes a good game for them. There's not, no. That's like the extreme side of it.
Yeah, that's not the end. When I would say what would be the complete opposite end from a person who knows nothing about gaming, it's people who know everything about gaming, who are
well-rounded.
Yeah, and who are also probably industry personnel, really. Because I would say some people who are in the gaming industry, who work on games, play a lot of variety of games. So they know they're exposed to a variety of designs and a variety of elements that they can then incorporate into what they're working on. That, I think, is the other end of the spectrum that he's not getting.
And what gets me, he talks about the action. He talks about the killing part.
Yeah.
Is the image they've got at the top of this article from Beyond Two Souls?
I believe so, because I think that's Ellen Page.
Okay. To this I say, that is blood on her. I would assume someone has either one gotten shot or two gotten killed. Huh.
Also, not gonna lie, I swear that's out of a horror film.
I mean, it's one of those, he's sitting here griping and complaining, and it's like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're even doing it.
Yeah, I swear that shot's out of a horror film. Where you have, like, the crazy female villain just going, murder you, murder... No, she got the crazy eyes. She's got the crazy eyes.
She's gonna kill you. And make you like it.
But back to the original thing, which was,
But
defining a game.
yeah.
Here's the thing about his games, which, granted, I've only played Heavy Rain to completion. It is a game in a very general sense. Now, David, it's not that people don't think your games aren't games, which I'm sure this is kind of why you're talking about this. It's that they're not the best games out there. I'll be honest, Heavy Rain is kind of forgettable.
As I'm gonna assume Beyond Two Souls is gonna be too.
I think the problem is Heavy Rain, from what I understand, Heavy Rain, it's got a consistent story for the most part. No, you're changing between 4 characters, but you have a consistent timeline of events that you're going through. The problem with Beyond Two Souls is you're playing a fractured timeline. It's not like you're playing a consistent timeline, but at certain points you flash back. No, you'll be at one point in time in Jodie's life, and then you'll be at another point in Jodie's life, and then you'll go back to a point, then you'll go forward, then back, then forward a little more, then maybe forward a little more, then back, then forward, then back, then forward, and back, then forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward.
So essentially, from the game playing standpoint, you're time traveling.
As a player, yes. Because you're going back and forth through this person's life. So nothing you do matters because everything's already set. You can't affect anything. Truly.
The only thing you can do is just make the events happen as they're supposed to.
Yeah, I think Pro Jared in his review even said that he put the controller down for a level segment to see if he could fail it. He couldn't. Without putting in any button prompts for a sequence, he couldn't fail it. It would continue to go forward without him playing.
That kind of defeats the whole purpose of the game, then.
Yes, because I would believe, in a general sense, when you define a game, unlike other media, is very interactive.
It needs input from both the player and the game.
Yeah. Because unlike a movie where you can just hit the forward and the rewind button to move through events, that's your only interaction with it besides watching it. Games, you're inputting commands, you're inputting things in order to play the game and progress the story.
You're telling the game what you want to see.
Right. And the game responds by showing you what you're going to see. You progress the game. It's more like in a book where you're turning the page, only it's a very complex turning of the page.
Because
if that makes any sense at all.
Well, it does, because really, if you sit back and think about a game, yes, you're turning the page, but you're also having to do everything that you're seeing as you're reading that page, too.
Right. And you're doing a little bit of writing yourself in said book.
Yeah.
To keep this metaphor going.
Because, okay, look at Call of Duty, for example. Story side. You don't have to go in a straight line from point A to point B. You can go hundreds of different ways.
Yeah.
each way is still going to get you to that same ending, but you're making your own path.
Right.
From what you just said there, this game's already got your path lined up for you. You're just hitting buttons and thinking you're doing something.
Right. Which is a step back from Heavy Rain. Because in Heavy Rain, everything you did mattered. You would have sequences you could fail, and your character is dead. You don't get a do-over. Your character is dead. You must progress the story with that character dead. And your ending will reflect that. That's a step back from Heavy Rain. At least Heavy Rain, your actions mattered in the story. And Beyond Two Souls, your actions don't matter. Jody can't die halfway through the game, and then you get an ending. And thus your story is over, and you have to start the game over again in order to get a better ending. Or a worse ending. That's a step backwards from what I understand. Which I think is dumb.
Yeah, because putting the two games together kind of reminds me of how the Mass Effect stuff went. In all honesty. Because you said Heavy Rain, everything matters and everything's going to change.
Right.
That was the principle of Mass Effect to begin with.
Right.
What they did at the last one. Pretty much threw everything out the window.
Everything matters until the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
But here it's an entire game where that's the principle, and you have an entire game where that's not the principle. And I'm like, why did you step back? You should have stepped forward.
Yeah, they should have took that to a new level with it.
Yeah. Or at least that's what I'm understanding about Beyond Two Souls from what I've read about it. Granted, I've only read and watched reviews of it. I haven't gotten the game myself. And maybe that my opinion of that will change. But from what I understand from people I've watched and read, that's how the game plays. And that's such a step back from Heavy Rain. Because at least Heavy Rain had that going for it. Its story was a bit eh. And the characters were like eh. And the game was eh. At least everything you did mattered. You would have, even within a level, your choices within that level would matter. You could do something to change how that level is going to progress. For instance, the female character is investigating the murder case. You will have two main things you can have happen. You will either end up potentially becoming a victim of the serial killer that you're getting this information from, or you will walk out of there with the information, none the wiser of what's going on. And certain actions you take during this level will cause one of those two things to happen. So you have a choice within the level itself. Granted, it doesn't matter in the long run, except if the character dies, but you have those options within a single sequence.
It sounds to me like Heavy Rain's got replayability.
It does! I have to pull up the Heavy Rain.
Because you could play it so many different ways.
Right.
Whereas, from what you've found out and have said, Beyond Two Souls, pretty much you play it once, you've got the idea of it. In my opinion, from what's been said so far about Beyond Two Souls, that's not really a game. A game should have that factor of being able to be replayed as much as possible.
5, 6. Okay, one character has at least 7 different endings he can have by the end of his run in the game.
Jeez.
7. For one character. See, for another character there's 3. For another there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Another has 3, so that's what, 7 plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different endings. 17 endings spread across 4 characters.
Jeez.
17! And that's not including the different things you can have take place within a level that will change how you play the game. You had such a step forward with Heavy Rain, and then you took 5 steps back with this. At the very they even took a step forward with Beyond Two Souls, because from what I've heard, it's better acted than Heavy Rain. Because Ellen Page and William Dafoe, they carry the game for the most part. That's like one consistent thing I've always heard about the game, is that those two, they carry the game. They are why you play this game, because they make it work. The controls are plah. Because they try to implement a cover system with Heavy Rain's type of controls, and that is a terrible idea, because Heavy Rain's controls weren't quite that good. It was a bit tight, I would say. The story is eh. The characters were eh. But Ellen Page and William Dafoe, they carry the game. They make the game work. When it's that's the one consistent thing I've heard about the game, that can't be good. That an actress and an actor carry the game. That's not good. But I got nothing else to say. You?
No.
Alrighty then, we're gonna move on. I'm seriously thinking about at least finding a way to rent Heavy Rain, or not Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls for a week and play it and see how it goes.
Yeah, but that's going to be hard to try to rent something anymore.
Yeah, because around here, Blockbuster's canned. The only thing you got is Redbox, and that's an if they have games. And signing up for a Netflix subscription, which I don't rent that many games to begin with, so...
Well, Netflix, they don't do games right now, do they?
No, not Netflix, Gamefly.
Yeah.
Wrong service. If I can find it for like $20, I'd be like, you know what, fuck it, I'll own this for $20. And I probably won't regret it. But we're gonna move on, so I can stop talking about Beyond Two Souls and how a step back as it is from Heavy Rain. On to something far more interesting, and that is a new trailer for XCOM Enemy Within, where we get a reveal of the human rivals Exalt, who are earning this game's title of Enemy Within. Alright. Exalt are transhumanists seeking to use all this shiny new technology floating around for their new ends, a rock paper system preview explains. And they don't like XCOM. Exalt will siphon funds away from XCOM, delay your research, and turn countries against you. Ooh! Oh! Oh, that makes that trailer so much better, because it's like, wow! This is like a complete organization that's like, fuck you guys, we're going to take you down. Commanders can form reconnaissance to track down Exalt outposts, then take them down in a new mission type. You may send in a lone agent to infiltrate an outpost without their armor and carrying only a pistol, then call in support from the rest of the team. Oh, if it were that simple. The infiltrator needs not only to escape, but to hack terminals on their way out while your squad waits through Exalt forces to rescue. Oh my god! Oh. Oh, that just sounds so difficult. But it's gonna be so satisfying to do that, because these guys are dicks. Let's see. Exalt also has a main base somewhere in the world, which you can track down and assault. Yes, base assaults are sort of coming and enemy within, but you still won't need to defend your own. Although I think the trailer says otherwise. Because I won't spoil it. Enemy Within launches on November 12th. It will be an expansion on PC and Mac, but the console release will be a full standalone edition, including the base game. You can see Exalt in action and a dozen new screenshots in this trailer here. That makes me so much more excited for it, and it makes me really happy that I pre-ordered this last night. Since it's 10% off on Steam. It's less than a month away now. I can't wait. Alright, let's look at this trailer.
Alright, good. Waiting on you.
Alright. Starting up the XCOM Enemy Within trailer in 3, 2, 1, go!
Hello, Commander. A new enemy now threatens the future of mankind. Intelligence sources indicate a rogue organization with a separate, misguided agenda is undermining XCOM field operations. These acts cannot go unpunished. Your previous directive to preserve all human life on Earth has been rescinded. You are to use all available resources to locate and eliminate these traitors.
Dude, what do you think?
Looks pretty good.
Now, they say up top how base assaults are going to be coming back, sort of. Here's the thing, in that entire cutscene, XCOM base is under attack. And I have to go, okay, maybe it's just a cutscene. But I so hope it's not just a cutscene. I hope you do have to suit up, and you literally have to defend your own base. And push back this infiltration of Exalt. And maybe that's how this whole sequence starts. Is like, you've been infiltrated by Exalt, and now you have, and they've infiltrated, they've wrecked the base, you're repairing it, and now you are on the hunt for these guys. It's like, oh, you messed with our base? Now we're gonna hunt you down, and we're going to exterminate every last one of you. I can't wait. It looks so good. I love the idea of, like, okay, there's this rogue organization that's like XCOM, except not that good. Who aren't about, protecting the planet. They're out for their own wants and needs. They just want to use more power. And I like how they even look like XCOM. Because you had, like, the red sphere that is just the opposite of the blue sphere you have in your base. You have the logo that looks almost like that's kind of shaped like the XCOM logo. You got the soldiers who move like XCOM soldiers, who have the same animations as XCOM soldiers. So it's almost like a distorted mirror of your own organization that you've been commanding.
Yeah.
And now you have to fight yourself. So all the tactics you've been using, you got to throw them all out the window because they know them all. And now you have to fight yourself. And they have to figure out, okay, how to beat me. Which I think is really cool. Because you're not just fighting aliens with all these different powers. You're fighting yourself,
And
and you
I'd
have
venture
to
to
figure
say
out.
over time you'll be fighting yourself and aliens.
Oh, that's gonna be the really cool part where it's like you drop into a mission, all of a sudden Exalt and alien forces are on the ground. Now you're in a three-way fight. And now you have to decide, okay, do you stand back? Do you hope they eliminate each other? Do you step in, try to end the fight quick? Do you try to take down both sides? Do you try to take down one side and help the other? Well, what do you do? It offers so many options. Ah, I can't wait. Because I just love the strategy options that will be placed before you in some of these levels. It's like, well, if you're in the fight, what do you do? When you have the aliens and the Exalt forces there, what if they're chrysalids? Do you shoot down the chrysalids just to make sure you don't have more enemies? Because if the chrysalids kill the Exalt guys and turn them, all of a sudden you've got zombies after you. No, what if you've got one of the huge mechs going? No, if you let that be, it's just going to take down Exalt, but then you have to deal with it yourself. And what if you don't have the firepower? What if you team up with Exalt just to take it down and then you take them out next? You have those options in combat now. It's
And you know the way that's setting up, you'd have XCOM and Exalt.
yeah.
Who's to say down the line too they couldn't add in PvP and PvE for that matter?
Well, there's already multiplayer in the game.
But I mean, set it up XCOM versus Exalt.
Eh, Technically, that's in there because of how the PvP is set up. Because you can have your own squad comprised of soldiers and alien species. So, kind of it's in there, but not quite. I'm just thinking of like the single player options of like what's gonna happen because those infiltration missions sound so intense. You just have your one guy in there alone with nothing but a pistol to back him up. And you're just going ducking cover to cover, cover to cover, like hoping they don't spot you. All of a sudden, you've turned a strategy game into a stealth game. Oh, I can't wait. But anything else to say so I can stop gushing?
Nah.
Alrighty then, moving on. We have information on one of the mysterious titles of E3 from this past year, The Order 1886. Coming out of Game Informer, which I got a copy of. I didn't get a chance to read through the article today, but uh, hopefully this Chic News article will have everything important, or at least everything that we would like to know. Latest issue of Game Informer shares the details. Though the game takes place in the late 1800s, you're playing as one of the Knights of the Round Table, otherwise known as the Order. Around the 7th or 8th century, human evolution splintered, and half-breeds started wreaking havoc on the normal human population. In this fiction, King Arthur founded his infamous Round Table to fight off the half-breeds. The knights use mysterious substances to prolong their life, and each time a knight falls, his apprentice takes over and usually takes his name as well. The players will take control of Sir Gawain, the third knight to take on the name. By the time the game takes place, humans are winning the war and the half-breeds are struggling for survival. In general terms, it's a third-person shooter. The alternate history setting gives Ready at Dawn the opportunity to play with technology and weapons far beyond the time period, and the camera has been built to simulate an actual camera following the player. Ready at Dawn also boasted about building soft objects to react dynamically, like human characters that bend realistically or metal that dynamically reacts to a powerful magnet. It also reiterates that the impressive visuals flourish we saw in the trailer are done using in-game models and visual effects. Ooh. That'd be kind of pretty. That trailer was pretty. So, let's see. Alternate history fiction mixed with Arthurian legend, mixed with third-person shooter, and it's all by Ready at Dawn. This sounds good.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, the Arthurian legend has me in from the get-go, but that has me interested, at least. I kind of like that idea that the third-person camera will be made like it's an actual camera following the player, and I have to think they would do some interesting things with that. Because what if that what if something attacks that camera? What could possibly go from there? Little kind of breaking the fourth wall stuff and things like that kind of excite me because it's interesting ideas. So yeah, not much, but hell, it just sounds interesting. And the simple idea that this will probably be co-op, considering the trailer. I'd play it.
Yeah, I'd give it a try.
Anything else to say?
No.
Alrighty then. Moving on. One last trip to shake news. We got some Lightning Returns Final Fantasy gameplay to watch because, you know, why not? Let's give this game another go.
For, like, the, what, 10th time now?
It's more like it, I would say. I'm willing to watch this just to be like, okay, what's 13.3 got now? Can it impress me? Can it show something that will get me interested in this game? Because I have very little interest in 13.3. I do mean very, very little.
Don't you mean Lightning Returns? Because that so does not sound like a sequel.
It's 13.3. I don't care what the title is. It's 13.3.
I still can't believe that crap.
Yeah.
Lightning Returns, but it's not going to sound like a sequel.
Yeah, except for the fact that its character returns.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
It's like saying Return of the Jedi is not a sequel.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Anyhow, it's queued up ready.
Alright, let's look at this 8 minutes of 13.3 footage in 3, 2, 1, go!
8.5 minutes, actually, but...
Yeah.
皆さんこんにちは、ライトニングリターンズファイナルファンタジー13ゲームデザインディレクターの阿部裕二です。よろしくお願いします。本日は、本作のゲームプレイ要素の方を紹介させていただきたいと思います。それではですね、早速ですが、本日ご覧いただくロケーションはワイルドランドです。緑に囲まれた悠久の大地が舞台になっています。今日はこのワイルドランドのメインクエストになっているチョコボを探すクエストをプレイしてみたいと思います。このワイルドランドを攻略するためにはチョコボは必要不可欠な存在です。チョコボをストーリーの軸として進行していくのがこのワイルドランドの醍醐味です。
So pretty much what they're fixing to show off is a chocobo hunt.
If you want to find the prey, seek out the predator. It makes
Yay!
sense. You should head east and find the city of ruins.
では、村の人々からチョコボのいる場所を
And Lightning is totally wearing something inspired by the Wild West.
Do you have any potions with you? Hey there! Can I help you with something today?
まずは旅支度のために
Boy, it looks like they have changed nothing. You know what?
Wait, you only have 6 slots for items? Wait a minute. What? Why?
Because you don't need more than 6 items. Ever.
Oh, bull. Oh, it's even got the Majora's Mask like lock for you. There's like, oh, by the way, there's 6 days left. Hope you get everything done in time.
Oh wow, they've got a dash ability that times out.
Yeah. And it dings too when it's full.
敵ができましたのでバトルをしてみます。
A great city was once built.
Hang on, sorry. Gotta interrupt you for a second. Gotta get in the fight with these
と
slimes.
比べてよりダイレクトに
I'll
ライ
get
ト
to
ニ
your
ングを操作
conversation
でき
later.
ます。ここでは左スティックを使ってフィールドを歩き回
Okay,
して
well that's actually a little better.
コントローラーのボタンを押すだけで違った操作ができ、メニューで設定を変更することも可能です。
Huh.
メニューからコマンドを選択する方式だった前作、前々作とはここが違います。また、ボタン一つでライトニングのバトルスタイルがチェンジできます。バトルで使用するバトルスタイルはメニューであらかじめコンフィグ設定しておく
So
こと
they've
が
turned it into a more real-time battle system
Yeah.
instead of a turn-based.
画面の下にあるゲージにご注目ください。このゲージを見ると、現在使用しているバトルスタイルでアビリティを発動するための力がどの程度残っているかがわかるんです。
You still got your styles for combat, which...
I didn't really hate the paradigm shifting
ゲージが残り少なくなったら、
because I felt like that kind of gave you
ゲージが回
more
復し始めます。
than some of the older Final Fantasy games.
I could see it, but... Unless you could really get creative with it, it's like, for me. That's just me, though. I'm kind of used to being for a character to be very good at certain
バトル
things.
スタイルを効果的に使うことが勝利への鍵となります。
Yeah, but see, with
It
that,
appears the ruins
with
here
the
are all that
paradigm
remain of that time.
shifting, that
So was that
forces
our
you
golden
to
age?
build everyone a
Well,
little
judging by
more
the state of them,
evenly
it ended a long time ago.
Yeah.
時には戦闘を避けること
and
も
not
重要です。
just have one person that's completely focused only on magic and one that's focused solely on damage and all that.
So this is where it began. The beginning of the end.
You're not gonna talk to those chocobos? They might not tell you where the one
The great
is!
chaos beneath the temple of the goddess. What do you think?
I hope that I'm wrong about this. But the
Surprise!
force behind the world's destruction might be buried somewhere in that temple.
The unseen chaos. I came into contact with it just once. I still remember the feeling. It's the white chocobo. I found it.
白いチョコボの前にモンスターがいます。こいつがターゲットなので、ボス戦前にカスタマイズしておきましょう。
And they're not paradigms
本作
anymore.
は
They're
カスタマイズのバリエーションが非常に豊富で
Dress
す。
spheres.
ウェア、
yeah.
武器、盾、そしてアビリティに至るまで非常に細かく調整ができます。
I'm sorry, but it's a dress sphere. We've stepped into 13. We've stepped into 10-2 here. And you can everything its own equipment because, well, we're gonna micromanage this crap hard. And
お気に入りのカラー
So
に変
wait,
装するこ
she
と
can
もで
do
きます。
wardrobe
本
changes
作
in
は
the
自
middle
由
of
度の
battle.
高いカスタマイズがポイントとな
yeah,
ります。
those are the styles.
Yeah, that doesn't seem stupid at all.
Like I said, dress spheres.
では、
Exactly what
カスタマイズ
that's
が
exactly
完
how
了したようなの
10-2
で
was set
挑
up.
んでみた
Your
いと
three
思
main
いま
characters
す。
could switch between different classes, and their clothes would change in the process to signify the
The world
changes.
is waiting.
That was the whole point of the dress
I can
spheres.
win with a single blow.
And now we're doing it in 13-3. I guess it's kind of nice that you can customize the colors for it, but
Get back to where you belong. I can win with a single blow.
ガード、回避もボタンアクションです。これを駆使することで、よりアクション性の高いバトルが楽しめます。
And I guess it's no longer about staggering the enemy. I don't see any kind of staggering here.
I don't either.
Let's just beat the shit out of
You're
him
so eager to die.
eventually.
さらに、 バトル中の機能に
I
オーバー
thought
クロックという
it
システムが
Oh, there it
時間の流れを
is.
封じてチャンスを
Overclock.
ここでさらにとどめの大技を
I was gonna say, I kind of thought the stagger idea was a little bit of a smart idea, but too easy to screw it up.
I think the only problem with it is that it might extend battles far too much, because the only way to defeat an enemy would be to stagger it, and that just lengthens battles too much.
Well, it depends on how strong both the player and the enemy is.
Yeah.
If you've got an extremely strong enemy with a weaker player, then
見事
it's
チョ
going
コ
to
板を
take a
撃破し
longer
ました
battle.
ね。しかしこの白いチョコ
Unless
が
you
随分
stagger.
傷ついています
Look at this. Why
But if
didn't he
it's
just
just
run
the
away?
opposite,
He's torn
then
up pretty bad.
Perhaps
can
he had
still
to
go
fight to
quick.
protect something.
It's all right, little one. I'll help you. You're bleeding heavily. We have to stop it.
村に連れて帰って手
Then
当
look
て
at
をす
the
る
chocobo.
必要
It's
がある
like,
そうです
then
この後どう
fucking
なる
heal
のか
me.
は実際にプレイしてみてくださいね本日のデモは以
This
上で
shit
終了
still
ですありがとうご
hurts.
ざいました
I'm gonna pass out.
yeah, now you got to use a life.
Yeah.
And is it just me, or did it sound like Hope was a lot older than what you would think by now?
I think everybody's older in this game. Because he was also older in 13 too. And now he's, I guess, a little older in 13-3. I don't know. There's just something about the look of the combat just makes me go, "But this just doesn't look interesting." And I can't put specifically where, but I'm like, eh.
To me, it feels like they've got too much in the HUD now.
I don't think it's that. It's just, I don't know.
In my opinion, they've got too much in the HUD now. It doesn't. It's not flowing like a Final Fantasy game should anymore.
Yeah.
However, though, I like the fact that you can move the character and be able to attack in real time.
Which is something 12 did, I believe. Yeah, 12.
I mean, in my opinion, I've always thought that the battle system would benefit from something like that anyhow.
Yeah.
Because the whole turn-based, yeah, that don't always work.
Yeah. Then again, I'm used to turn-based, so I'm okay with it. But it may just be me. I'm a guy
I
who likes
don't hate
Persona
it.
games.
I don't hate it. I'm just saying that, to me, I feel like a real-time battle system would function smoother than a turn-based one.
Yeah.
But I understand anytime you got parties, you kind of have to focus back with the turn-based.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard to move 3 people.
Yeah. And I would say they also have 2 different dynamics, really. A turn-based battle system is more focused on you as a player thinking ahead. You're thinking multiple turns ahead. You're thinking, what moves do you need to do pretty much your next turn by? It's all about the setup.
It's basically a chess game.
Yeah.
You've got to not only plan your moves, but you've got to plan their moves too.
Yeah. Whereas a real time, it's more about reacting. It's more about acting in the moment. You're setting up moves, but you're not thinking that far ahead because you're reacting to your opponent as they're reacting to you. So it's more of on-the-fly thinking.
And that's why I've always kind of thought that Final Fantasy could benefit more off of that.
Yeah.
But, like I said too, you get a party of 3, it's kind of hard to move 3 people at once.
Yeah.
So it's going to benefit more from a turn-based. That's a lot of the trade-off there. If you got one person doing it like they're doing, it's perfect. Because it is more on the fly. And you do have a little more freedom with it.
Yeah.
But if it's like 13 was set up, then yeah, you kind of do need the turn-based.
I don't know what it is about the 13 game, the 13 trilogy, that just makes me so disinterested with it.
Could it be the fact that it's a trilogy now?
It's not that. It's not even that it's a trilogy. It's just something in the game just makes me go, eh, about it. It's not that I don't hate what I'm looking at. It's just I'm so not interested in it.
It's
But
because
when I
there's
look
so
at,
much different, I bet.
but when I look at like 7, I'm kind of interested in it just on the simple fact of how much hype's behind it. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what all the hype's about. Or like 12 with how Star Wars it is a bit in its story. Does that make sense? Like, I can see certain things that are pretty much the antithesis of the story for Star Wars that are a part of the story of Final Fantasy 12. Like, some of the characters shared certain traits with Star Wars characters, and they fill some of the same roles in their story. That's just something I've noticed, because it's like, wait, you're that character in Star Wars, you're that character in Star Wars, you're that character in Star Wars, and you're that character in Star Wars. Oh dear Lord, this is Star Wars Final Fantasy. In a lot of ways. Which doesn't make it bad to me, it makes me go, I'll see what this is.
You know, in all honesty, what could be what's turning you away from 13? It could possibly be the whole paradigm shifting ideas. Because what did you even say right a little bit ago? That you liked the fact that you would have some characters that you were only expecting them to be able to do certain things.
Right.
With, like I said, with the paradigm shifting, it kind of forces you to build them all evenly, so you don't really have that one character that's master of certain things.
Yeah.
And it kind of breaks that older Final Fantasy vibe.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't mind a character that's being well-rounded. In Persona 3 and 4, your main character is that well-rounded character, which is why they have the wildcard ability. They can draw any persona you want. And it does make you go, okay, I'm on a persona that's, a physical attacker, or one that's got a lot of wind damage, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you have your other party members to kind of fill in the holes you can't. So you'll have a character who's, got big wind attacks, but he's also got a little something else. But it works to that character because it's also kind of a reflection of their traits, in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how I've always seen it. Is like, well, if you're a master of this, it's also a reflection of your character. No, it's a standout trait of yours, along with everything else that defines your character. And for all the characters to be well-rounded, I'm like, okay.
Because it kind of takes away from them.
Yeah. It takes something away from the character.
Which,
so I'm like, well,
in all honesty, the paradigm shifting in 13, now I don't know how they did it with 13.2.
It's still in 13.2, as far as I know.
Yeah, but I don't know if they changed gameplay-wise through it. But really, in 13, the whole paradigm shifting, to start out, you've only got 2 paradigms for each character. And each character does have different paradigms. It's not really until you get not really until you get to free roam, where you get to just go on your own and do whatever you want, that you actually have the option to build them on all of the paradigms. And that's quite a bit into the game.
No, I've got one question that's just mainly from my curiosity about 13, since you've played it. Do they really explain the terminology they use?
As far as all the new stuff,
Like the Lassie and the Falsi and you know, all those terms that they have, do they ever really explain those, or do you have to go to the glossary to really understand it?
it felt to me like within the game there was enough explanation for it, but it definitely isn't one of those you're going to be able to play the game and know everything about the terms.
Okay.
You would understand it if you played it, but to grasp the whole concept, you'd probably have to look a little more into it.
I was just curious about that, because I know that's a complaint I've always heard about 13. It's like, it doesn't really explain stuff, and I'm like, well, does it?
It does, but it could do a better job, kind of deal.
Okay. So people are being a bit too harsh on 13.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it just tells you, okay, you're one of these things now, everyone hates you, fix it. It's not one of those. They do kind of explain what happens to get to that point, but it's
not the best explanation in the world.
Yeah. It's so loose, too, that really it's kind of up to you putting two and two together and hoping you get it right.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I know of people who legitimately like all of 13. I believe KZX likes 13 a good bit. So I've always thought, like, maybe people are a bit too harsh on the game. Maybe that's just it. Because I don't hate the game. I'm just about it. Because I don't have any interest in it. It doesn't swing me one way or the other.
The game itself, I don't hate. What I hated about it was the fact that it was so long. There was so many points where it was like, oh God. Because you would be hoping that you would be getting somewhere in it, and then you'd think, okay, cool, I'm actually doing something, and then you'd still be playing for hours before you get to anywhere farther in one disc. And it's like, oh God, this game's going to take forever.
So it's got pacing issues, is what it sounds like.
It could be stood to speed up a bit. Not too much, because they kind of failed to explain some of the stuff pretty good, but it could have gotten that speed behind it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I know with Persona 4, I think if I were to give that to somebody and they were to play it, they might feel it's a bit long. It's a bit drawn out, but I think it's pretty well paced. Because you always have another mystery to deal with, even though the mystery is a bit obvious.
But, question.
What?
How many discs is Persona?
1.
13 is 3 discs.
I think the better question is, how many hours is it?
I got burned out on 13, so I'll tell you that right now.
How many hours did you sink into it at that point?
I don't remember. I'd have to pull my... Which I can't at the moment, but I'd have to pull it up on my Xbox.
So I was about to say, Persona 4 is a good 100-hour game. If 13 is more than that, then I don't know what to say.
I'd say it's probably every bit of that or more.
Okay. Because with Persona 4, its pacing is pretty good, but you always have the mystery to keep you interested. The overall mystery, you just have these little mini mysteries in between of, like, okay, well, who's got thrown into the TV? Even though you can clearly see the silhouette and figure it out from there. Although they don't really play it that long of like, well, who's the silhouette? It's like, come on. they're using the same in-game model. We know who this is as the player. It just doesn't take that long to get there, which is a good thing. All right. Anything else to say about 13?
How many hours you said Persona?
About 100.
I pulled up something online here. The maximum, about 86, almost 87.
Yeah.
That actually kind of surprises me though, because it feels like it can drag on.
Yeah. Well, Persona 4 could be a little less depending on your grinding. I think I sunk another 10 hours in terms of grinding. Possibly for Persona 4 that I could have cut out. I grinded a bit before I went into the final boss. Because I wanted to be over-leveled for him.
That kind of sounds like how I started out with Final Fantasy VIII. I'll grind a little bit before that first boss, and then it's like, wow, shouldn't have done that.
This was the final boss. I was grinding before the final boss. Because I had it set up to where I could grind endlessly. No, I wouldn't run out on SP and HP. What SP and HP I was losing, I could gain back because of the personas I had. So I could just grind endlessly with everyone and get everyone's levels up a bit. Because I wanted to be over level going into the final boss because I didn't want to take the chance of being under leveled. Because I'm like, I'm taking in everybody at the best they can be into this final boss because this will hurt. Because and again, I'll throw it over to KCX on YouTube. His video up for the final boss, he nearly game overed on the final boss. Ooh. Yeah, he got really close to it, and he was playing on a higher difficulty than me, because I think he was playing it on normal, and I was on easy from Persona 4. I don't know if we had corresponding levels, but yeah. Yeah, that final boss is nothing to sneeze at. But anything else before we move on?
Nope.
Alrighty then. Moving on to our last article of the week. It's Kingdom Hearts 3 I was about to say 3D. Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay.
At least you weren't fixing to say Kingdom Hearts 3DS or something like that.
Yeah. Well, technically, it is 3D is the short name of it. It's Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which is 3D because it's on the 3DS and it's got 3D. But yeah, coming out of D23 Expo, we have what I've heard is beta footage for Kingdom Hearts 3. So this is in development footage. But this is still what we could be expecting for the title later on down the line, because we're not getting this for a while. Because on top of this, and the article points this out, 2.5 Remix got announced, and it's coming next year. Which, if you're wondering what 2.5 Remix is, it's a Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Birth by Sleep Final Mix, and recoded with HD remastered cinematics for recoded, because no one wants to play recoded. Just like how no one wants to play 358 by 2 days, because they only had the cinematics for that one. We only want to play the good games. Outside of maybe Chain of Memories. I've never played Chain of Memories. Apparently, you don't play the GBA version. You play the Chain of Memories version with either the Final Mix or 1.5. Because it's the far superior version of it.
I got the trailer queued up.
Alrighty then.
I figured you were fixing to ask, so.
Yeah. Let us look at Kingdom Hearts 3 D23 Expo Japanese 2013 trailer in 3, 2, 1, go. And I believe all of this is taking place in Twilight Town, because it looks like Twilight Town instead of